Welcome to the basics of note reading. Today I will teach you how to simply read notes and quickly accomplish this hard task. So there are two clefs in music, in piano I mean. There is the treble clef, which looks like this. And there is the bass clef, which looks like this, with two dots here. The difference between the treble clef and the bass clef is that the bass clef is for lower notes and the treble clef is for higher notes, so you basically split the keyboard in two. So this is middle C. It is exactly the center of the piano, and it is the note that people tend to use the most. As you can see, it's a circle with a line in the middle. This is called a ledger line. Ledger lines are used for notes that are lower or higher than the staff. The staff is these 5 lines. If it is higher, and you want to draw high A, for example, you would add a line here and draw A. So if this is C, then this is D. There are notes in every single line in space, like this: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C again. This is an octave. It's from the lower pitch of C to a higher pitch of C. And if you would want to draw another octave, then you would draw all the notes up to this C. This is the high C. And there are simple ways to memorize these notes. Let me just first write all of these so you can get a clear look. So for the spaces and lines, people memorize them differently. Like there's E, G, B, D, and F. E, G, B, D, and F. People make up phrases like every good boy deserves fudge, or every good bear deserves fish. And the spaces are much more simple since there are only 4 notes. And the spaces spell out face. Now moving on to bass clef. People say that bass clef, you read it differently, and I guess you can understand it that way. But this is middle C. If this is treble clef, then this would be middle C. And it's the same thing for bass clef. It's just middle C here for bass clef. And then you can just start counting down. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. And back to the C. This is a low C. If you would go another octave, it's the same thing. This is low C in bass clef. And this is low C, and that's high C. So it's very similar. And over here it's just A, this is A, C, E, G, and B. And you can make up your own phrase, or like a lot of people say, all cows eat grass, and just add a B. And also for the lines, it's G, B, D, F, and A. So G, B, D, F, and A. And they just say good boys deserve fudge always, or like good bears deserve fudge always. And you might see notes sometimes looking like this, or this, or this, or this, and there's many others. And these are all, they don't affect the pitch of the note, they just affect the rhythm. Like, how would you write like da, 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 like, right? And this is 1 beat. This is 2 beats, this is 3 beats, and this is half a beat. So let me show you the family tree of notes. So at the very top, there's always the whole note, which is just empty white. It's a big oval, and there's no stem. And a whole note always equals to 2 half notes. As you can see, it's just a whole note attached with a stem, and that makes it 2 beats. And each half note is always 2 quarter notes. And you might be wondering, if a quarter note equals 1 beat, why is it called a quarter note? Why not a whole note? And that can be called like a fourth note or something. Well, the thing is, there are just 4 quarter notes in a whole note, and that's why it's called a quarter note. Same thing with half notes and 8 notes. This two halves make 1. So two half notes makes a whole note. And each quarter note is always an 8th note. It's drawn the same as a quarter note, except there's this little flag here. And there's 8 eighth notes in a whole note. And you would do the same thing for 16th notes, 32nds, and even 64th. So you would just draw them with more like flags and like, I'll show you what a 32nd and a 16th looks in a second. I won't draw them because there's too many to draw. So you would see this is a quarter note. This is an 8th note. This is a 16th note. And this is a 32nd. So the difference between all of these is just no flag, 2 flags, and 3 flags. So you can easily just see how they look. And you might see sometimes 2 notes are attached to each other like this. So in this case, this is 2 8th notes. Quarter notes will never be attached like this. They would just be a half note. So they're attached like this, so you play. And you can never see a quarter note like this because, of course, it doesn't have that stem. You would just see it like this. And if you would change this to two 16th notes, then you would just simply add a line here like that. And if the same thing, you want to change it to a 32nd, you would add 2 lines like that. It's actually fairly simple. And also, on to rhythm, you might see sometimes in a melody, it looks like this, like there might be a clef here, and then a few sharps, a few flats, but we'll get on that later. And then you'll see 2 numbers, like 3/4, like that. What that means is the rhythm. You will also see like a bunch of notes like this, maybe, like 1 quarter note, a half note, and then a bar line, like this stick is called a bar line. And each bar line, 2 bar lines, like in here, there might be a dotted half note. A dot just means the note is multiplied by 1.5 of its original length. So if it would be the same thing, if it would be without the dot, it would be like this. Da. It's just 1, 2. But if you add that dot, it would be 1, 2, 3. Because half of this note, half of 2 equals, so half of 2 equals 1. So its original length is 1, so is 2, I mean. So 2 plus 1 equals 3 beats. And back to this. 2 bar lines in the middle of it, it would be a measure. A measure, and that's when the time signature comes in. That means there are 3 quarter notes in each measure. Some time signatures you will never see. You might see 4/4, that means 4 quarter notes. You might see 6/8, which is 6 8th notes. But some things you can never see are like 4/3, because there's no third note. You might see 4/2, or like even 7/8. So that just means 7 8th notes, 4 half notes. And just some time signatures you'll never see. There's even such things as like 10 16th notes. It's just up to the music. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please hit that like button if you enjoyed it.